Hi, I'm Alex, and this is the Brightgo YouTube channel. Today we are going to learn how to create variable products on WooCommerce programmatically. The reason that I decided to create this is because I couldn't find any tutorial that allowed me to create variations for products on WooCommerce. I had to import a very big catalog of products with many variations each of them, and it was impossible to insert them all manually, so it needed to be auto. To make the long story short, let's go to the code now. We are here on the panel, and what I really wanted to do first is to explain what is exactly a variable product. Maybe for several of you it's pretty easy, but it's cool to get a small recap here so we can understand what it's exactly we're going to do. So let's create a simple product here. Let's say this is a t-shirt. This is a product type variable. We will have an attribute. So the attributes, it's when you sell a t-shirt or whatever product, it has several attributes. So if you are only selling a t-shirt that is a white one and you only have one size, that's pretty easy. You can create a simple product here. But when you have several sizes and you have several colors, you have to create all the combinations that you need for it, or based on your inventory. So what we are going to create is a simple example here, creating a t-shirt that has color green and color red, and you have S, M, and L sizes. So we are going to create it here on the panel, and then we are going to do it on the code. So let's do it. So I'm going to create an attribute here at color, and you will see red. It needs to have a pipe for different values that it has. Red, green. We need to click here to use it for variations, because when we create the variations here, you are going to get exactly what it's a variation for and how it's treated here on WooCommerce, which is the most important thing to understand when we are doing the code. So click here, save attribute, and I'm going to create a new one, and the other one would be the size. So size is S, M, L. Okay, so use it for variations, true, and save attribute. So at this point, we need to create then the variation. So one of the variations, it will be that the t-shirt is green and size M, for example. So we are going to add the variation, and we say go, and we are going to say that it's green and size M. And also it can be red and size L, and that's it. And after that, we are going to publish this product, and we have then two variations. What is exactly a variation here on WooCommerce? So variation, it's a sub-product. So it's a product that has a connection with the variable product on the top. So right here on this example, we have 17 ID for this product variable, and all the other variations that are created are new posts or products here in WooCommerce, and those products has an ID. They have an ID over there, and that ID is connected to this big one, 17. Okay, so this is the parent, and the child posts are 19 and 19. So we have created this product, this t-shirt. So the idea is that we are going to do it with programming language. Okay, so let me bring here the code. Okay, you can see here the t-shirts and the products that we have. So we are going to have the code here. One moment. Let me put it here on this page. This is my code, and this is the whole code that I have for this YouTube video. And we are going to do it here on the child theme on the functions PHP. You can create a plugin if you want, but it's easier for this example just to do it here on the functions PHP. We also are going to use a WP CLI, which is a shell code, shell program that allows you to handle and manage WordPress. If we don't have to use then WP admin. So I'm going to bring here my shell code here. This is my console. And we are going to use WP, so you can see it there. And let's go over the code. So the first thing that we need to create is a function that allow us to create a product. Okay, so let's do something like function. Write code, create product. So we are going to do product equals new WC product variable. This is a specific class that WooCommerce API has that creates immediately a variable type product. Okay, so WC product variable. We are going to then set several of the important attributes for that product and that object. So we are going to use set description. We are going to name it something like t-shirt test YouTube. We are going then to set a name, t-shirt test. We need to set a SKU. The SKU is a kind of an ID for WooCommerce in this exactly product. Remember, this is the variable product. This is the parent product for the variations. So let's see. Let's put something like t-shirt. This can be a dashed thing, you know, a name with dashes. We are going to set a price for it. And let's say that it costs, I don't know, $10. We are going to set a regular price. You can also set a sales price. If you have if you're in a sale season, you can add the value here, but it's not necessary in this example. Regular price. We are going to set also the stock status, and we can just leave it like this. But you can also do something like an in stock. Let me review one moment the API here. It's stock status. So set stock status. It comes from WC product. Stock status. Okay, and it has default value in stock. So we don't need to set anything like this. It will set it as an in stock. And then we can just do product save. So with this function, we are going to be retrieving the ID of the new product that is created. So we are going to need that ID, and we are going to see it then on the WP admin panel. So let's save this. So right now here on this console, I'm going to use a very useful features of the WP CLI, which is the WP shell. So the WP shell allows me to create a console extension or console environment for the whole WordPress system. So I can use any of the functions from the WooCommerce core and the custom functions that I'm creating, even classes or whatever. So this is pretty cool because I will not have to do something like this just to create a product. We can just use it on the shell. So that's the cool thing. So we are going to do this first here. And we are going to enter. Oh, we have a trouble here. Set description on null. Oh, I have to here. Okay, so let's try it again. Okay, so we have created a product with the ID number 20. And let's go here and let's see if we have it. There you go. We have this new t-shirt test. And the ID is number 20 here. Okay, so now we have the ID. So the point is that now we need to create the variations, the attributes. And after we add the attributes to the parent ID, we need then to create the variation. So the first thing that we need to do is set the attributes, and the product is going to receive an array of those attribute objects. So let's going to create that function, and we are going to add those new attributes to this new product. Okay, so we need to create something like a function. Write code. Set attributes to product. Okay, so we are going to need a name, and we are going to need values that are going to be an array. Okay, and we are going to do something like attribute here, new WC product attribute, and we are going to set the attributes of this object. So it's attribute set, the basic ones will be the ID. We can set it as a 0. It's not a big trouble here. This is not exactly an ID of the object of the post. It's more like an internal ID that WooCommerce needs for. And ID, we are going to then need to set name, and this will be the name. We are going to set options for, and values here. We are going then to set if it is visible. And in this moment, for this example, we are going to say that it's true, but you can set it as a false, and also for the is variation. So this value tells to WooCommerce if this attribute is going to be used for a variation or not. So after this, we are going to return this object. This is the object, and what we're going to do is that we are going to create the attributes and then assign them to the product. Okay. So this will be something like this. Let's go to our console. We need to go out of the shell because the shell, the first time that we loaded, it didn't load this new function that we just created here. So it needs to load the new values and the new functions that you just created on your functions, or on your functions PHP, or on your plugins, or whatever you want. So at the moment that you type WP shell, it loads all the functions that it has at that specific moment. If you add new functions, this shell instance is not going to have those functions. So let's create an attributes, and let's say this is an array. So as I said, the product set attributes function, that is the one that we are going to use for adding those attributes to the product. It needs to be an array of WC product attributes object. So we are going to create the attributes as an object, add them to this array, and then we are going to set it on the product. Okay, so let's do it. So attribute this, we are going to say this is the set product, and the name is going to be color, and the values would be red and red and green. This is the first attribute. Oh, what happened here? Again, another simple letter here. Okay, let's try it again. WP shell. Set attribute. Okay, we have the object number 1. So the object number 2 is going to be the size. And the size will be S, M, and L. Okay. So we have then print R attribute, and we have the arrays here. So we need to set the new attributes to the product. So let's go first to bring the product object to set the attributes. So we are going to say this product equals new WC product variable, and with the ID that we got before was at 20, and there you are. We have the product. We are going to say product set attributes, and we are going to add the array that we created before, which is attribute. Semicolon, enter, and then product save. Okay, so let's see if in this new product, the product number 20, we have the attributes that we just set. So let's go here. Let's see what happens. And let's click here on attributes. Let's see if it works. There you go. So we have the red and the green and the XML values that we set for this t-shirt test. And this is the t-shirt object that we created before. So we now have the attributes. We then need to create the variations of the product with those attributes. So let's create a function that makes that. Okay, so let's say that we have a function. The name is PryCode. PryCode create variations. Product ID, and we got values. Okay, so the first thing is create a variation object that is a new WC product variation. Okay, so now that we have the attributes, we need to set the variations for that parent product with those, with values of those attributes. So what we are going to set is a product variation that, as I said, is a child of the main variable product, and it's going to be a t-shirt with green value and let's say M size. Okay, so we need to create a function for. Let's do it right now. So we need to create a function. PryCode set variation, and we are going to need the product ID, the parent product. We are going to need the values that they need to be an array. It needs to be an array too. And let's go over the code. So we need something like a variation new WC product variation. As I said, this is another post in WordPress, but it's a post with a post type product variation. We are going to set the values for, and let's say set the parent ID, which is the product ID. We need to set the attributes for. So the attributes of that value, it would be values. So in this case, it's breadth and size m. Okay, and we are going to set the SKU for, and it can be something like a test green and this is just an example of test green, whatever. Let's put it around here. This is just for the example. 1 to 10. And okay, this is set SKUs. Sorry. And we are going to use something like a set price. Let's put a value like $5. The same as the variable product, it can be regular price or sales price. So you can set several values over that I will show you later. But this is just for the example, just to get exactly how we can do this. Regular price here. And we need to set the set stock status. The same as the other. We can leave it like this. And what else need to set? Let me review here. I think that's enough. And we need to set the safety variation. And we are going to add a special trick that I found after several tries. It's that for some reason that I do not understand, WooCommerce does not set the product variable, I mean the parent one. It doesn't set it as in stock. It needs to, the product needs to be saved again after you save the attribute to it. And I don't know exactly why that happens, but I don't know. So the only way that it can be done is just to resave the parent product. So let's do it. And it's something like a WC get product and product ID, and we do a simple product save here. And that's it. So again, we need to load the shell here. Let's see what happens. Write code set variation. It will be for the ID number 20. That is the one that we have here. And we need to send an array. So the array, it could be the color. It's the attribute. And we need to send a valid value that it has. So in this example that we say, it's going to be green. And another variable, that will be size, and it's going to be let's see what happens. There you go, it says nothing here. Let's go here and let's click on variations. It's going to load us the variations that we just create. And that's it. We have the product with test green SKU that we set, with the price that we set. It's enabled, it's in stock, and it's green, and the you didn't take the yeah, because I set the value as a not real value, so it should be a name in caps. So let's try it again. Let's see what happens. One moment. T-shirt test. And let's see how it works. Variations. Let's see what it loads. Okay. There. Green and size n. What happened before is that I sent a value that is not valid because this n was in lowercase and it needed to be in caps because the n, because this is a real value that it has for the attribute size. So that's it. We can maybe create another example here. I could create something like a thread, and the size is L. And let's see what happens if it created or not. Let's reload here. Let's click on variations again. Let's wait that it loads. And that's it. We have another product variation called red and L with color red and size L with several number SKU, several different prices, and that's it. So I'm pretty sure that you are not gonna get an easy and descriptive solution like this on the internet. I'm going to leave the code on the description of the video. If you like the video, give a thumbs up, subscribe, and click on the bell so you can get more updates from me and my company on the future.